Good evening and welcome to the Digital Marketing Workshop webinar, being brought to you by Buffalo Niagara chapter of SCORE and by the presenter tonight, also a SCORE volunteer and an experienced business person, Arba Cooper. I am SCORE Workshops Coordinator, Ted Galantowitz, and am pleased to serve as your host tonight. I'm again being backstopped by Workshop Administrative Volunteer Than Ho. This session is going to be recorded, and the recording link will be emailed to all registrants by tomorrow. Also, I will make available a PDF copy of the presentation slides, and that will also be out to all of our registrants tomorrow. All attendee microphones will be muted during the presentation. If and when you have a question, an answer to a question, or a comment during the presentation, please use the chat box or the Q&A function. The Q&A and chat box items will be addressed as appropriate during the presentation. Also, our presenter will leave time at the end of her presentation for questions and your comments. I'll be monitoring the Q&A and chat sections during the presentations, and I believe our presenter will also be monitoring them, but I'll be backstopping her for those issues. Since I have brought your attention to the chat box, I'm now going to ask and request that all attendees at this time click on the chat box and enter your name. This will certainly help us in confirming attendance to tonight's webinar. All attendees will be receiving an evaluation form, and this is automatically generated by our registration system. It will be coming to you via email. I'm going to ask that you please complete the form and return it. Before handing over the microphone to our presenter, I'd like to let you know that this webinar is part of SCORE's commitment to provide and promote the success of small businesses. We do this through local and nationally available training events, one-on-one mentoring, and by providing online informational sources. SCORE is the volunteer arm of the Small Business Administration, the SBA. And we've got hundreds of chapters and thousands of unpaid volunteers throughout the United States. Our Buffalo chapter of SCORE has about 70 members, and many of those members do mentoring. Our mentoring is free. It's also confidential, and most of our educational events are free. We suggest that you contact us at buffaloniagara.score.org and via our national website, score.org. Please note that during October, our Buffalo Niagara chapter will be presenting 6 webinar workshops. On October the 6th, the Google trainers are going to be presenting a workshop that will be on the morning of October the 6th. There will be a contracts and leases legal issues discussion that's going to occur on the evening of the 8th of October. We have an email marketing quick start webinar on October 15th, and our presenter for tonight's webinar will also be presenting that email marketing quick start webinar on the 15th. There is going to be a holiday online marketing webinar on October the 20th in the evening, a Microsoft Basic Windows 10 webinar on the morning of October 22nd, and a webinar on WordPress, the WordPress free open source software that's going to be on the evening of October 27th. You can register for any or all of these events at buffaloniagara.score.org. And so at this point, let me go ahead and get into our content for the evening, our presenter for the evening. I want to introduce Arba Cooper. Arba Cooper is a past president of our Buffalo Niagara SCORE chapter. She is an active mentor, has been for a number of years, has done numerous presentations for us. And I'd like to thank Arba for going ahead and making herself available to do this presentation on a topic that she knows an awful lot about. So at this point, Arba, the microphone and the controls for the presentation slides are yours.
All right. I'm going to take it away. Thank you so much, Ted. And thank you to all of the attendees. This is going to be a little different for me because I am really more used to, make sure you can still see my screen. I'm very much used to doing in-person presentations. Looking at some of the names of the attendees, I know some of you have heard me before in my different workshops. And I am very much an interactive, energetic person. So it's going to be a little different that I'm not actually seeing your faces and being able to interact with you. However, if you do have questions or if I'm going too fast with any information, you can go ahead and put your question in the chat box and I will try to answer if it's something I need to answer, if it's something that Ted can just quickly answer. Like I know one of the questions was already, is it going to be recorded and are you going to get slides? So that answer is yes. What you'll find in my webinar style is that, or workshop style, is I don't regurgitate or repeat everything that's on a slide. I like to use the, because you're going to get copies of the slides and you can see them, then what I usually do is just share more information than what you see on the slide. So the main thing I want to say about myself is that I have walked in your shoes. For any of you who are either new in business, aspiring to have a business, have fallen into a business, trying to get out of a business. I've done it all over the last 30 years, all aspects of it. When I first started my first business, I was not looking to actually start a business. And that was back in 1996. I was actually fulfilling a need and it developed into a business. And I found that that was really the best way to do it because there was a need that I could fill. And then as time went on, I started learning web design. I realized that that was another need from my many print clients. They needed websites. So I taught myself how to do websites. The wedding magazine, I fell into that business too. I found a niche market that there were a lot of small businesses, photographers, caterers, DJs, that they all needed marketing. And so I fulfilled that need with a monthly magazine. And as Ted mentioned earlier, I am a certified mentor, workshop presenter, and I was one of the hosts when we had a business radio program on Power 96.5. So recently, I have become a Constant Contact certified partner, and that allows me to get a lot of extra information that is not normally shared with the public. And I'm going to share some of that with you in tonight's webinar, as well as some of the future ones. So that gives my credentials as to why I'm qualified to give this presentation. So over the next, hour or 2 hours or so, I asked Ted to make this a 2-hour presentation only because I want to allow for the interaction and ability to ask questions. As you see, I'm going to go over 22 different digital marketing solutions. So if you do the math, I got about 5 minutes per subject. So I'm going to keep it moving, especially since I can't really see the interaction, but also allow time for questions. Okay, so let's start with blogs. And one thing I do want to say before I get started with any of this is I want to go back a minute. The purpose of this webinar is to give you an overview of all of the possible digital marketing solutions that are available. Well, actually, this isn't even all of them. This is but quite a few. And I do not want you to get overwhelmed thinking as a small business or an entrepreneur that you have to do all of these. No, no, no. You do not have to do all of these. This just allows you to understand all of it, and then you can pick and choose what may work for your business. Okay, so I wanted to put that little note out there. Okay, blogs. A lot of times when I'm mentoring, a lot of my clients ask, do I have to do a blog? And just because they hear about it. Oh, they I'm getting an echo for some reason. Okay, they hear about doing blogs. You do not have to do a blog, but there is definitely a benefit to doing a blog if you want to, number one, become an expert in your business. Then blogging helps to create that, and it helps to start to give or communicate with your audience, because it helps to make you more personable to your audience. And it can tremendously help your website, because fresh new content on a website is always good for search engine optimization, which I'm going to talk about later. So there's a lot of benefits to blogging, but if you are not the type of person that really likes to write a lot, or if you're new in your business and don't really have a lot to share, or if you don't really have time, then know that blogging is not for you. However, blogging in and of itself can be a business. There are people out there that are making lots of money who do fit those characteristics, where they do have a lot to share, or maybe they're even blogging about some other product or service, and they're building up their audience. So that there's different benefits to blogging. Okay. A call to action. That is what you must have in all of your marketing material. If you are giving someone a flyer, a brochure, or if you're doing anything on the internet, you want to have something that's going to prompt your visitors to do something. You don't just put up a website just for the sake of it, or you don't do an email blast just for the sake of it. You want a result from that. And so there's a list there of the different things you want someone to do. Have a purpose for whatever it is that you're doing. And that's what in the digital world is called a call to action. Have them do something. I have a note on here that Google Voice is a free service that forwards calls instead of advertising your personal number. Now, I've used Google Voice for over 10 years now. It's free. They have not charged me anything for it. And the reason I primarily use it is because I started my business in Atlanta, and my cell phone is still a 404 number, and I still have a lot of clients in Atlanta, but my Google Voice is a 716 number, because I found that when I call people from my 404 number, many times they don't answer. So using Google Voice, not only you can accept incoming calls, but I can also do outgoing calls with a 716 number. And so therefore my cell phone number is hidden. So that's a call to action. And the reason why, I'm sorry, let me go back. The reason I mentioned Google Voice, as you do your marketing, and actually that's the next slide. I just give a segue to my next slide. As you do and try various marketing. Whether you're aggressive enough to do TV, newspaper, billboards, any of that, you'll want to have some type of way to track that advertising. Number one, what I always tell all of my clients is when you get that first phone call or that first email, that first client, you're excited. The first thing you're, oh my God, I got my first client. But you need to program yourself to always ask, how did you hear about me? Where did you get my number? Always ask that, because as you start trying different marketing efforts, you'll want to know what is working for you. And the only way you're going to know is either to ask, or you can put in your any of your online advertising, you can use a specific tracking URL, that's like a domain you can use, or a tracking number. So that's another reason why I was saying with Google Voice also has it records the calls, does a transcript. There's so much you can get with that for free. I just can't, go on. When you start getting into higher paid types of advertising, some of them will offer a tracking number. And my advice is to go ahead and take that, because that way you'll be able to know where your marketing or where your customers are coming from. Okay. There's a question on here. It says, do you recommend advertising in the Yellow Pages any longer? I recommend advertising in whatever medium works for you. The reason that the Yellow Pages still exist here in the Buffalo area is because there are a lot of consumers that actually still use the Yellow Pages. So as long as there's customers that that you're getting customers from it, that's why we have advertisers that are paying for it. So, you just got to find out what works for you. Okay. Contact forms and list management. You must keep track of your clients, not writing them down on Post-it notes or the back of a business card or all of that. No, you need to get some type of list management, because your contacts, your prospects, that's your money. Without being able to follow up with someone, then that's money lost. It is so much better and easier to keep track of or contact, to continually do business with your existing clients than it is to keep marketing and try to get new clients. I can attest to that with the clients that I have from Atlanta. A lot of there's some clients that I have in Atlanta that I have never personally met, because they were referred to me from my existing clients, because I've always kept up with them. So the way that you can build your contact list is a few slides ago, I talked about a call to action. So if you have on your website, or excuse me, on your business card, even on your business card, you should have call me for an appointment, request a quote, something other than just your regular information on your business card. Use the back of your card. Give some incentive for people to contact you so that you can start building your contact list. And when you put a contact form on your website, most people just go with the generic name, address, phone, or email. And I encourage you, ask for more than that. You'll be surprised that if someone's really interested in doing business with you, and if you ask for more information, they will give it to you. I have on some of my websites, I have contact forms. As a matter of fact, let me step back. With my wedding business website, I had a whole checklist on there. What services are you interested in? Have you ever advertised before? I would ask so much that by the time I got that contact form, when I called that client back, I already had a conversation. I already had something to talk to them about instead of just the, generic name, address, phone. Now, what I would suggest is if you're going to ask more information, then don't make it a required field unless it's really required, unless you've gotten to the point in your business where I'm at in my business, that I'm really trying to filter out a lot of the what's called tire kickers, or people just wanting information or want to take up my time. So I make some fields required, and then if someone doesn't want to fill that out, then that means that they're not really interested in my services. One of the questions I have on here, again, how did they find your website? If you ask that on your form, then that is good data collection. Okay. Digital signage. Again, a lot of these things that I'm showing you tonight, I've done it. I've tried it. I'm here to say some things work, some things don't, but that doesn't mean that you don't try it, because it's all related to your business. Digital signage it's so easy to do. I actually, just before COVID, was going to set up digital signage at Delavan Grider Center, where I do some of the workshops. Digital signage is so easy now with flat screen TVs and laptops. That's really all it takes. You can, with a flat screen TV and a laptop with Wi-Fi, there's websites or there's services where you can set up your own advertise. Well, this is, I'm going to tell you about digital signage two ways. One, as if you wanted to do that as a business, and then the other is that if you're looking for that as a form of advertising. If you wanted to do something like that as a business, again, you just you have to find a location and a flat screen TV and a laptop. And then what you do is you just create a website and you put the advertisers on it. So the places where you see digital signage, I have them listed here, airports, banks, all these different places. So what you do is you find a location that has some type of lobby or waiting area, that works the best. And you set up the flat screen TV and you have your advertising on it. So if you happen to see or are in a location that you frequent a lot, and that location may be a good match for your business, I encourage you to talk to the owner of that location and simply ask them, who is responsible for your digital signage? Because you may find that being able to place your ad on that signage may be within your price range. They may have a trial period or anything. You don't know. So it's just another avenue. If you see that kind of signage, ask more about it if you feel that could work for your business. Okay, display advertising. What this is what shows up on mostly websites. And it can be in the form of a text link, an image, video, forms, and pop-ups. A good example is like Wikipedia. if you look up something on Wikipedia, sometimes some of the text is underlined, and it may take you to another website that has more information. In some cases, these text links, they are advertisers are paying for those links, or sometimes they may be linking to another partner of theirs. So again, two ways this can work is if you have an active website that gets a lot of traffic, then you can actually sell advertising on your site. Someone may be using a Google AdSense. That's at the last bullet down there. Google AdSense has a program where you can earn money, on your website. So you can do that through their program, or you can maybe just do it through some type of arrangement with your own contact list. For instance, if you are a realtor and you have your own website, and maybe you want to list the different service providers you work with, the plumbers, the handymans, all of that, you can say to them, hey, I'll put an ad on my website, or I'll put a link on my website, for a monthly fee, an annual fee, or something like that. That's display advertising. And there's so many ways, and I know you've all have seen it. How many times do you go to well, especially like Facebook has it, but many times you'll be on a website and, oh my God, the pop-ups come up, or a video. All of those things is all display advertising. And again, it may work for you. Domain names. Domain names in and of themselves can be a business. And also, it's important when you are selecting your domain name. I have an S for plural because I suggest you have more than one domain name. Even if, like, for instance, my business is Arba LLC. Well, unless you know me, unless you know Arba, that is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. But if I use a domain name that more represents what I do, and I have a domain or something, do-it-yourself marketing, or the marketing guru, that's another one. I can look it up. I come up with these names sometimes, like, oh, I want to use that, or there's one, the website woman. So you want to domain names. They're so inexpensive. I mean, they can go anywhere from $10 to $20, depending on what registrar you use to register your domain. But I recommend have more than one, because the domain name itself can also help you with search engine optimization, which I'll talk about later. And there's a client that I had, I don't know if he's on this call, that he's making a business out of purchasing domain names. And what I mean by that is he comes up with different names that he thinks is marketable, because the thing about domain names, it's first, what do you call it? Whoever gets it first, they own it. So if you have if there's a domain name that isn't already registered, like I said, the marketing guru, I'm pretty sure somebody already has that. But if you wanted to secure that for yourself, you can. There's nothing, and if it's available, you can. And let me give you my personal experience. I had a customer who, this was years ago, and his domain was Sofa Creations. And he was just making these little unique sofas out of a, it was not a garage, I forget what you call the storehouse. It was like a store garage thing on the side of the freeway. And he was making these sofas, there. And after a couple of months or so, I don't know what happened, because I tell you, I have customers, they come and go and then they come back again. But he just said, Arba, shut down my site. I don't want my site anymore. I'm not going to be doing these sofa creations. I don't ask too many questions. So because I shut down his site, but a year hadn't transpired, because a domain name lasts for a year. The domain name was in my name. And so I got an email, and I was in Atlanta at the time, and it was someone in North Carolina. And they said, I see that you own the domain name Sofa Creations. I'm interested in purchasing it because I have a business I'm starting. So I said, okay, what's your price? He said $200. I said, sold. So I wasn't even trying to do a business or trying to have the domain name as a business, but what the term one man's trash, another man's treasure, but I didn't need that domain name. It was going to expire. I wasn't going to renew it, but that's a way that there's some people that they just look for catchy names. And I've had this happen to me a couple of times where I've had a great name that is either something I registered and was going to use it, never did, and someone approached me and wanted to purchase it. Okay. Email marketing. So as I mentioned earlier, I am now a certified partner of Constant Contact, and that's going to be one of the webinars that my next webinar actually in October. So you will get to find out everything you want to know and then more about email marketing. I used email marketing big time when I had my wedding publication, and it worked awesome for me. I had two tiers of contacts. I had my brides. I say brides, but obviously they're couples. So I would send emails, and regularly. When you're doing email marketing, that's got to be something that you're doing on a regular. So I was at least no longer than a month, and many times even shorter time frame. I would even weekly. But anyway, I would send my email newsletters to my my brides and grooms, and then my other channel was all of my advertisers, my caterers, DJs, all of them. So this keeps me in front of my clients. So I was always letting the brides and grooms know when the next bridal show was, which was something that I got into. I was doing, not only was I doing a monthly publication, I was doing networking meetings with my advertisers, and I was doing the bridal shows. So I would let the brides and grooms know when the upcoming bridal shows were coming up, and I'd let my advertisers know some great marketing ideas. And so I had two different paths going there with my email marketing, and that's how I really grew my business, by constantly. That's why they call the name Constant Contact. There's a lot of other email marketing providers out there. MailChimp is one, and there's others, but that's what it is. The name is just what it does: constant contact. You want to keep constant contact, but how you build your email list is by putting the asking for emails on your website form. If you have a physical location, then maybe have a sign in and offer something. The way you get your emails is you have to offer someone. You got to give something to get something. Sign up on my email list and you'll get promotions, or you'll get discounts. You'll get something. It's interesting because again, right now I'm talking like I'm seeing you, so I'm hoping you're all like shaking your head. Yeah, I could do that. Okay. Google Analytics. Google is king. Google is a verb now. Anything you want to know, go Google it. It's on Google, you know. There's a reason. So Google has all of this data, and you want to be able to analyze this data. And so now a lot of website platforms, they already have analytics built into it. So you don't necessarily have to use Google Analytics, but you can do both. You can, with a lot of website platforms, they have a place where if you already have a Google account, then you can attach that to your I'm sorry, I'm mentioning Google and my phone is like automatically talking. It's, you know, if you got any kind of Google device, I almost have to whisper because it's thinking I'm talking to it. But you can attach your Google account to your website if you already have an existing, or you can just use your own website analytics. But as I have there in red letters, avoid analysis paralysis. I had a client that, and he's still with me. He's my most long-term client. He's been my client now for over 15 years. And I could talk to him like a brother because he always, Arba, I'm getting all these hits on my website. Everybody's going to my website. How come I'm not getting orders? You know, he's always looking at his analytics. And now he has a point, because yes, one would wonder, if you're getting a whole lot of activity on your site, why aren't you getting conversions? However, it's a whole long story on another webinar on why he's not getting the conversions. And a conversion means that, is the person buying? Are they calling you? Are they, you know, requesting a quote? That's a conversion. Anything that is the result of whatever your call to action. So just don't get caught up. It's good to have that data, but don't get so caught up in it that you know, you're paralyzed by the number. Or on the other hand, with my one client, if you got that data, then do something with it. And that's what was so frustrating, is I would go over that data with him and tell him, this is what it's showing. Here's the trends. This is what you got to do. But he didn't want to do it. Okay, a landing page. A landing page is just a specific page with a call to action. And you can, any page on your website can be a landing page. You don't have to have a whole separate website or pay for another service to have a landing page. The purpose of it, and especially when I talk about Google Ads or search engine marketing later, the purpose of a landing, let me give the best example. If you're a realtor, and of course you've got all these properties, then if you're leaving a flyer, you do an open house, then if you want someone to contact you about their interest in that particular property, it is best to have a page that is specific for that specific property, because you don't want that person who just came to that open house, if they're really interested in that particular house, and you send them to your overall website, and then they got to search again for the house or specifics. That's not a good follow through. So back to when I was talking about domain names and how you can own more than one domain name. Well, why not have a domain name that you use specifically for your open house or specifically for a certain property? So you use that domain name, and then you have a specific landing page for that particular property, and then you can put that on your flyer. And then whenever that property sells, then you change that, point that domain name to your other property. And you can use that for events. I would do that when I had my wedding business. If I had a specific bridal event, then I would use the same domain name I would use for my events, but I would just change the content so that when they would go to that domain, it would land on that specific page, and it would get that information. You want to have on that landing page, pull that trigger with that call to action, have them fill out that form. This is where you should have a more detailed form, because you've already have gotten that person's attention. For them to land on that page means that they came to it either from some other online marketing, a flyer. They've come to it for some other reason. And if they come to that landing page, that means they're ready for the next step. So go ahead and have some type of action on there that you want them to take. Okay, next is local listings. This is where you want to claim, I talked about Google earlier and Google being king. And what you want, if you have especially if you have any type of retail location, you want to make sure that you claim that listing on Google. And I think that Ted mentioned earlier that next week, I believe it is, that SCORE is offering a webinar from Google. And
that's on the October the 6th.
Great. I thought, yep. Is that next week?
Next week in the morning, yes. It's a 10:30 to 11:30 presentation. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, at least I know somebody's listening.
Oh, absolutely. I'm still interested in obtaining the website. The website woman. I want to get that.
And one of the other attendees said we're listening. Thank you. It's just so strange to me. I'm just over here just talking, but as you can see, I can do that anyway. I could be over here just talking to myself. So the webinar next week with Google will tell you all the benefits of claiming your listing. Many times it's free. So let me give you another personal example of why you want to claim your listing. The pros and cons, the buyer beware or whatever. When I was doing a workshop, I had one of the attendees in the workshop had a boutique, a little clothing boutique. And I told everyone that if you have a retail location, you are on the internet, whether you have a website or not. And you need to make sure you claim your listing so your information is accurate. And she was like, oh no, there's no listing there. We don't have any internet presence. And I said, you want to bet? So what we did, I went right on the internet, put in the address of her boutique. Sure enough, a listing came up, and she was appalled because the picture that showed up was like when they first bought the boutique. And when they first bought it, it was in disarray. It needed repair. The reason they bought it is because they renovated it. And she's like, oh my God, it looks like a dump. And, I told her, I said, well, that's what people are seeing, because as soon as somebody refers a business or says, oh, you should check out so-and-so's boutique, the first thing people do is what? Google it. So they Google it, and it looked like some rundown piece of building. So she says, oh, I have got to get my own website, or claim the listing so that she could put her own photos on there, because when you're on the internet, it's going to show up, and you want to make sure your information is accurate. Now, On the other side of that, well, why are there so many listings and all of these companies that put your listing on there? It's marketing for them. So when if you have a business and you don't have a website, then if your addresses are public information. So these listing companies, they put your address on the internet, and then you see it, and then there's something that says claim this listing. And many of these listing companies, they will intentionally have something inaccurate. Just like the example I gave, it was like an old picture made her business look bad. They'll have either an old picture, the wrong hours of operation, it won't have your website. It could be a variety of things. And the reason they do that is they want you as the owner to find that listing, and then where it says claim your listing, when you go to claim it, then that's where they can upsell you. Hey, you should get a premier listing, and or this and that. So that's why they put them on there for marketing. Okay, I have a question here. Where do you find the average, something spelled wrong, where do you find the average something for Google Analytics for your industry? Keywords probably is what it's saying. We'll talk about that when I get to that slide, if I'm reading this right, or average key performance indicators. Thank you. Some people love to use acronyms, but not everybody may truncate it the same way. Okay, where do you find the average key performance indicators for your Google Analytics? Okay, for your industry. One of the things that I will say that Constant Contact has is a industry. They do have like an industry, a vertical industry tools for your different vertical industries, and I'll find that and put that in the chat window. That may work for you, but in general, Google it. My answer for if you're looking for anything that Google supplies, Google it. Google has a very good what do you call it? Knowledge base. Thank you. That was the word I was trying to say. Knowledge base. Okay. Marketing automation. Okay, you, the small business owner, is probably saying, oh my God, Arba, I know you said at the beginning, I don't have to do all of this, but my head is spinning already. You know, what can I do? Marketing automation is a way that you can have a lot of this, I'm repeating myself, automated. So basically, if I could take you through how this works. Now, I don't know, somebody let me know, can you see my mouse? Because I don't even know if I even, use my mouse, if anybody can see it. Oh, yay,
Yeah.
good. Somebody
I can see it.
Good. Okay. Okay. Everybody doesn't have to respond. Thank you. At least I know you're out there. Okay. So the way that marketing automation works is, remember all of these different ways I told you you can get leads. Some of these I haven't gotten into yet, but from your website, social media, your SEO, SEM, SEO, search engine optimization, SEM, search engine marketing, reputation management, email. So you've got all of these ways that you're getting all of this data, all these leads, and you're like, oh my God, what do I do? How do I keep track of everything? Well, you use a customer relationship management system. There's a lot of them out there. I'm not going to give different names. Some of them are called CRM. Some are called CSMs. There's something. There's all these acronyms out there, but a contact management system. So you plug all of that into this database. And then if you collect their email, that's why you always want to try to collect more than just an email. Email, phone, forms, and you churn all of this data. And with this, your marketing automation engine, and this is again a service, different companies provide it, and what it can do is then spit out some email offers for those people that prefer to get the emails. They can also get, there's different prompts that, you know, for instance, if someone is getting an email and maybe they went to a link, they clicked a link on your in your email, then that's going to then create another kind of segmented list. I see a question. I'll answer that in a minute. And also text messaging can be a way to contact this list. And then finally, the people that actually have a request, you know, you call. So all of this can be automated, so that the main thing is that you are constantly contacting your customers. Some of it is where you want to constantly keep in touch with your existing client base, and others you want to just keep moving along the sales process until they finally become a customer. So the question says, do you have a couple of CRMs that you have used which you can recommend? Well, of course, one that I'm going to recommend is Constant Contact. So we can talk about that. Then there's Salesforce is another that I've used and familiar with. And oh my God, I can't think of the other one. It begins with a C. I've tried them before too. Blah, 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 blah. If I think about it later, I will tell you that one. I know it begins with the almost had it tip of my tongue. I'll think of it and then I'll tell you later. All right. Oh, and Dale. Hi, Dale. Dale said HubSpot. I thought HubSpot was mainly for social media. So I'm not familiar. I don't have too much familiarity with HubSpot. But anyway, that was a comment from one of the attendees, said HubSpot. Okay. Online reviews. Now that I have told you every reason and every way that you can get online, then you become a target. Everybody would hope that when you're online, another response, HubSpot's CRM is free. We like that. Thank you. So I haven't personally used it, but we got a couple of attendees who have. So thank you. And any other attendee, if you have any things that you feel that the rest of the group could benefit from, just let me know and I'll shout it out. Let's see, online reviews. So once you become get your business online, you got your social media, you got a website, maybe you're doing some Google ads, all this kind of stuff. Now you're susceptible to reviews. Not all reviews are positive. And so what you, number one, want to do, wait a minute, I think I'm confusing myself with my next, you know what, I'm confusing myself. Let me clarify. This slide, I want to talk about why you want to put your reviews online, why you want to put on your website, have a page or have an area that people can read your positive reviews. So this is because people like to read, of course, reviews from other customers. And then also it lets them know that you do have customers. So all of those bullets there that I have is reasons why you want to have reviews. Put something on your site, even if you only have one review. If it's a good review, of course, then put it on there. They're just, it's co-signing. Somebody is like co-signing that you're a good business. Oh, one of the things that I forgot to mention at the beginning is the order that I'm going in is alphabetical. So I don't know if any of you figured this out yet, that I'm not going in any order of preference. And that's why I was talking about something before I got to it, because I'm just simply going, there's over 20 concepts I'm talking about here. So when you get your copies of this, your PDF, you'll easily be able to flip through it because everything's alphabetical. So I just want to let you know that. So quick response codes, QR codes. This is the graphic that you may see that works. It can work on printed material, works great in printed materials and magazines. You could put it on the back of your business card, flyers. I don't know any of you that may be savvy and already have a QR code reader or scanner on your phone. You might try to scan that. And when you do, it'll take you to a knowledge-based article that talks about QR codes and how to generate your own. Now, you may think that this looks the same, you know, every time you see one, but it's not. It's awesome. I just love technology, I swear. Each of these little dots and pathways, you know, you can maybe try to trace it and get to the end. But anyway, all of these patterns and everything have code that can either take you to a website link. It can either if you're on a you'd have to be on a smartphone to scan it, could call a number. It could do any of these things. So, and it's free. Again, there's if you go to this knowledge base, it will tell you how to create one, and then you just take it and put it on your card or your marketing materials. Okay, reputation management. This is what I was talking about earlier and confused myself. So much digital marketing stuff. This is where I was saying, now that you're online and you have all of these different ways that people can see you, that's where you're going to start to get reviews or comments or, you know, whatever. And so you'll want to monitor that. You don't want, once you start putting yourself out there, you want to make sure that you can see what people are saying about you, whether it be good or bad. And if it's a bad comment, then what you do is you neutralize that. An example is that if someone tried your service and maybe this person, I don't know, maybe really that person has let's give the example of there's some people that may have a personal vendetta against you. So they're just out there just talking about you bad on the, you know, the internet. What you want to do, regardless of if this is someone you know or someone you don't know, you want to neutralize that by comment. You want to respond. So someone says, you know, I used him, this plumber, and he really messed up my plumbing and didn't do it right, da 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 da, whatever they're saying about you. So what you want to do is you want to respond and say, oh, you know, Sally Sue, I'm so sorry you had that experience with me. I will call you and we'll rectify this. You want to say something. You want to respond to that. And the reason you want to respond is because you want others who read that to know that you are a business that responds to any issues, that maybe there was some misunderstanding, you know, between that client. And so you respond to that. And then there are people that say, oh, well, this person really cares about his business, you know, because the thing is that it takes an awful lot to try to remove negative responses. You may see something out there and then you're like, oh my God, that is so wrong. And you'll try to contact Google or Yelp or whatever's out there, and good luck, because it's very, very hard to remove a review. So the best you can do is respond to it. And a way that you can track that easily so that you're not, again, getting into analysis paralysis, trying to find all of these different sites and is somebody talking about me and going paranoid. You can use a service, another Google service, Google Alerts, and it's free. All you do is put in the different keyword. You put the name of your business, your name, the different things you want to get an alert about so that you'll know if there's some kind of comment, mention, or review about you or your business. Okay. Whoop. No, my thing is not moving. Okay. Search engine optimization. This is a webinar all by itself. And I certainly hope anyone who attended tonight is not expecting for me to try to do a whole search engine optimization explanation, because that's not going to happen. I'm going to give you a few highlights. But before I do, I got a comment from an attendee. Do you have any experience with automated survey service that can help automate Google reviews so you can get more posted? I personally don't have any experience with automated survey service. I do have experience with companies that you can pay that will respond to any reviews, but not an automated one. And the attendee also gave two that they're familiar with. I know of Podium and Trust. So that's, you can write that down. I know nothing about them. Podium and Trust for automated survey service that can respond. I will tell you a pro and con of that, because personally, the company, my day job, oh, by the way, that's the reason why all of my webinars will be in the evening, because I do have a regular day job. My day job, we have a department that is called a reputation management department, and they respond to customer reviews for the customer. I will tell you that there's no better personalization for your business than yourself. You know, if you hire someone else to respond to reviews, then there's only so much that they can put into. They can just give like a standard response, you know, whichever. Now, this department, they do, if it is something that's really negative or something that needs the business owner's attention, they will bring it to that business owner's attention. So I say that with the same thing about automated. You know, you got to be kind of careful. I would say unless you are big time company and you got your branding out there and you got so much going on that you need to automate it, then do it. But if you're just starting out and you got a trickle here, a trickle there, it's best for you to respond yourself. Okay. Now I've been seeing for a while here, Ted, I don't know whether to do that. There's a person, looks like they got their hand raised, but I'm not sure if they already sent a chat, because it's not like we're gonna unmute anyone. So not sure what's going on with that one. But anyway, I'll keep it going.
No, I haven't seen anything.
Oh, there's a hand raised. Looks like Renee Passer Paul. I'm probably crucifying that name, but
well, we could unmute Renee's microphone if that would help.
It just went away. I guess she pushed it. She must have did it by mistake. She's like, whoops. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I didn't and then somebody else put theirs. Oh, Kathy. Now it looks like Kathy O'Brien raised her hand. Can you see that in the Okay, no, I see. Okay, I'm gonna keep it going. It looks like people are inadvertently or mistakenly hitting that. So, well, if you have a question, please just put it in the chat. That's a lot easier for us to do. Okay, so moving right along, search engine optimization, SEO. SEO in general is a free service. This is the what they call it, organic listings in Google. So what that means is whenever you Google something, of course you're going to get these different listings that appear, and it will say paid sponsor or an ad, and those usually show up at the top, sometimes at the side, at the bottom, but they'll be pretty distinguishable, and that's going to be the next slide I'm going to talk about. How do you somewhat guarantee, nothing's a guarantee, but how do you get at the top of the search engines? Everybody says, how do I get at the top of the search engines? You pay. You can pay, or the other way is that if you really spend a lot of time, you can get there through search engine optimization. Personal story about that is that my name, as unique as it is, I would have thought that just my name, Arba, would have me at the top of the search engines. I'm like, who else possibly could be using this name? Well, I found out the American Rabbit Breeders Association, ARBA, is has been around much longer than I have, at least on the internet. So so interesting enough, I was like, oh, so I can't just get at the top of the internet just by my name. So also, as Ted mentioned earlier, that I was the chapter chair for the Buffalo chapter. When I became chapter chair, one day they had it was Steve, didn't let me know, but Steve had asked, he said, oh, hey, Arba, let me take your picture. And it was at a chapter meeting. I didn't know, he didn't tell me what he was taking my picture for. So he takes my picture, and it was not a good hair day for me. And he takes my picture. Next minute I know, or not next minute, the next week or whatever, excuse me, I'm getting phone calls and emails, and everybody's like, hey, Arba, I see that you're in Business First. And I was like, I'm in business? What are you talking about? This picture looked like a mugshot of me that Steve took and put on there and announced to the world in Business First that I'm the new chapter chair. That was at the top of the search engines. Arba, at that time it was Tucker. Arba Tucker, new chapter chair. I was like, oh my God, that's at the top of the search engines. I learned search engine optimization as fast as I could. And so I started putting up everything I could with my name in it. And I put up more websites, and I started doing blogs. I did everything because I needed to move that mugshot picture down on the search engines. So there are things you can do, but it's going to take a lot of work. And this list that I have here, as I say, it's not in specific order, are different things that you can do. Now, if you're trying to get at the top of the search engine for a service like consulting, oh my gosh, that for number one, that's too broad. The more specific that you can be about what you're trying to get at the top of the search engines for will help. So it's called like long tail keywords. The more keywords that you can have to be specific. Excuse me, just a minute. I got a tickle, a sneeze. Oh, sorry. Okay. The more specific that you can be about what you're trying to rank at the top of the search engines, the better. And a word of warning: if you hire a company or a person to do your search engine optimization, you must understand search engine optimization is not a one-time activity. So anyone that tells you, pay me X amount of dollars and I'll get you at the top of the search engines, run away. Because search engine, to stay at the top of the search engines, you got to think of, I like to think about it like almost like stock. that it's going to forever go up and down. Everybody is trying to be at the top of the search engines. So if everybody wants to be at the top, then how do you think you can pay someone and remain at the top? You have to constantly work at it. You have to constantly do all the different techniques. And every time you think you got it, Google will change their algorithm and you got to start all over. So it's a continuous activity that to try to be at the top. But again, what's most important is understand what are you trying to be at the top of the search engines for. And that's a whole nother webinar in itself. Okay, moving on. I don't know why my thing sometimes is not advancing. There. Okay. Search engine marketing. Now, search engine marketing. So as I say here, SEO focuses on having the right keywords. Okay. SEM, this is where the question earlier, I think, where she was asking about key performance indicators. I was thinking just talking about keywords, but Google, with Google, you can find out and identify what are the keywords people are searching for the most. How much is it going to cost? If you want to, you got to pay to play to be at the top of the search engines. What you'll notice is that whenever you're searching on Google, do you notice that when you start typing in just a few keywords, this list of suggestions start coming up? Like, it's funny, you could type in how to, and as soon as you start typing how to, it'll show you the most common searched how to question. You could type in just one keyword and all of this other stuff will come up. Well, all of that is because Google's awesome, massive database constantly is collecting all of this data, and then that's how they monetize how much they're going to charge you for it. So if you're trying to be at the top of the search engines for lawyer, legal, oh, that's gonna cost you just that word. If somebody just types in lawyer and see who comes up as the first paid ad, oh, that person is paying. They are paying some money, because search engine marketing, every time somebody clicks on that link, that's a cha-ching coming out of their budget. So I've tried that before, and that's something you got to really know what you're doing to get in that game, because or else you could just churn through $100 in one day if you don't know what you're doing with search engine marketing. Okay, social media. Oh my gosh, there's so much out there. These are like the top 6, and then I know there's more and more that are coming up all the time. Each of these, I've put a little indication as to what each of them are used for. Again, I stress again, you do not have to be on all of these platforms, and I don't recommend you're on all of those platforms if you're not going to keep your content updated. The thing that I always say in my presentations is social media means you are being social. So just having a page out there that hasn't been updated since 2008 is not letting people know that you're social. Okay, so that could be a negative. If you haven't updated your page since 2008, and here we are in 2020, you can give someone the indication that you're no longer in business, or you're so outdated they don't want to do business with you. So so just make sure that whatever social media that you do decide to participate on, try to keep it current. Okay, there's a comment here. Keyword.io and Answer the Public are free keyword search tools to consider. Quora and Reddit can help you see what people are asking surrounding your keywords. All right, sounds like we got someone out there who has used search engine marketing. Thank you, Yolanda. you will get your prize at the end of the presentation. Ted will send you Cash App. Just kidding.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm checking my pockets right now.
No pockets, just Cash App. Remember, everything's digital. Everything's digital now. Okay. We're doing really good with time. So see, that's why I'd rather have this to be a 2 hour and then get through it and then be able to answer questions at the end. Okay, so all of these different social medias, they all have their different claim to fame. Now I don't even want to get political. I start to say something about Twitter, but anyway, so all of these have their usage, and you can find, well, what's most important, find who your target market is, and then you need to be on whatever platform they're on. All right, surveys and polls. This is, again, a great way to engage with your client base, get some feedback from them. And remember when I talked about earlier, reviews, putting reviews on your website. Well, what better way to get a great review than to send some kind of survey? And I'm sorry, I'm skipping all around. That how many times have you maybe had to contact support for something that's not working right, one of your applications or something's not working right, and then you'll get an email right after that. Oh, please fill out this survey. Let us know how well our person did. You do a phone call, and then they'll say, would you be willing to stay on the line for a quick 2-minute, survey? All of that stuff, that is so valuable. Again, it's costs a lot less to keep a client than it does to pay to market to find new ones. So the different things you can do, you want to use them as much as you can. So there's some different ways you can use them, in different places you should use them. Text messaging, especially for the millennials. Okay, there's a question here. What survey and polling tools do you suggest for small business owners? Constant Contact. I mean, I say that because I know it. There's others out there. I know TED, I'm supposed to give like 3, but I don't know 3 for every question that comes up. But the thing is, at least if I do mention Constant Contact, I'll be teaching on it or doing a webinar on it, and then people can make up their mind what they want to use. Text messaging. Are there any, well, now I'm not going to ask that question. I'll probably get too many responses, but millennials, they cannot even walk up the street without looking at their phone, texting all the time. You can, oh geez. So if that's your audience, and you know what, now I honestly have to say, it's not just millennials. I mean, we're all doing it. And it's really great, because now with dentist office, doctors, they, you opt in that if you want to receive text, and isn't it great to get a reminder of your appointment? So people are opting into texting all the time, and these are the different things. Again, here's a survey down here. You could do a little quick text survey. So whatever is the easiest means to reach your client base, use it. Videos. Oh my goodness. Now we got TikTok in the mix. Of course, YouTube, all of these different video platforms. With the new smartphones, I've even done some. With the new smartphones, you can do a really good quality video. And for any of you that have, especially like any kind of craft business, or maybe you're doing hair, beauty, I don't know. The sky's the limit. If a picture, if they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a video is just infinite. So try to do a short video for your business. If you take a video and you put that on your website, you're going to retain people on that video. They're gonna, you're gonna retain them on your site longer. There's different editing tools, so you don't have to pay a whole lot of money. You don't have to pay a video editor. The technology is becoming more and more accessible and affordable for the average person. So I do encourage, a testimonial. I did that at one of my website workshops. At the end of the workshop, I just, because I got to practice what I preach, right? So I asked one of the participants, I said, would you mind just doing a little video testimonial? And it was great. I cannot say enough about doing a nice little video, adding it to your website, your website, your Facebook, any of that. We all love that. Okay, and finally, this is, I said I have this all in alphabetical order and not any priority, but I will tell you, because I am the website woman, websites is key. That all of this, well, I'll say all of it, but the majority of the digital solutions that I talked about today, the foundation is a website. Before I get into that, let me see, I got a question or a comment. If you do need a video and an editor, that's what my company does. Okay, might as well do a little shout out. Nelson Robinson says, if you do need a video, I guess, I don't know if all panelists can, I guess all panelists can see that. Okay, hey, little shameless plug. I hear you on that. Okay, back to websites. Websites is the foundation to your digital marketing. There's only so much you can put in an email. There's only so much you can put in a tweet, in a video. Your whole objective is your website is your 24/7 administrative assistant. This is where people can go and get all the information they need to get about your business, where they can contact you, where they can submit their information, everything. And for some of you who still may be old school and still may be saying, I get all my business by word of mouth. Even though someone may refer to you, may refer you by word of mouth, do you think they're going to memorize your phone number? Most people know. So they're going to say, yeah, you need to call Arba. She's really good with that. The first thing they're going to say, you got her number? No. But you know what they can do? Look me up. As long as they look up Arba Cooper and they don't get to the Rabbit Breeders Association. So there's so many reasons. I have those reasons there why you need a website. And responsive, that is a given now. Like I said, I've been doing websites now for over 20 years. When I first started, they weren't responsive. Responsive simply means that it will respond to whatever type of device somebody is looking at your site with. So, gone are the days that everybody's on a desktop, and looking at your website. More than over 50% of people are looking at websites on cell phones. And so that's why your website needs to be responsive. It needs to automatically adjust to the cell phone screen. And if you have an existing website and the platform that you're using is not responsive, it is time to upgrade. Gotta have responsive. Okay. So, constant contact. You've heard me say it several times. Again, I am a certified partner which means that I also have access to promotions that they offer. So if any of you do decide that you, we talked about all of these other solutions out there. So let me just say that I'm not promoting and saying that you got to go with Constant Contact. I'm just saying that's where my expertise is with. And hey, they got promotions going on right now. But in the 20 something solutions that I talked about, look at how many already come with Constant Contact. So therefore you have one platform and you can get all of those different solutions with the one platform instead of getting one thing over here and another over there and over there. So, my last slide is, as I mentioned earlier, and Ted mentioned earlier, the next 3 webinars that I'll be doing, that if you all loved this roller coaster ride that I took you on for a little bit over an hour, and you want to come on another ride with me, then my next one is Email Marketing Quick Start. And you see that that's in October. Then November, talk about social media, and December, the Google search ads. And unless Ted tells me, Arba, that's it, you can't do no more, then we may keep this train rolling. And that, folks, is the end. And we got some good time. So Ted, I don't know, you said something about you can open up the mics. I don't know if you want to do that or.
I can open up the mic. So let me see from my end here. Hold on. I think I'm going to have to go with asking people to raise hands.
Okay. Okay. And then open them.
Mics one by one.
Okay. That's fine. So if anybody has a question that they want to ask, we're getting some in the chat. So a question in the chat. Oh, well, no, a comment. Thank you from Anne. Thank you for the program. Super helpful. Okay. That's good to hear. Let's see. Any comments? Any comments about podcast length and frequency? Actually, I know that is he still on here? Dale Martin. I know he's done radio because I was on his program. But I personally don't have podcast experience. I listen to quite a few podcasts, especially since I'm working at home. What I would say about podcasts is that as long as, depending on what kind of content you're talking about, would really determine the length. That, okay, let's say, for instance, if you're doing like there's this one podcast I listen to called like Positive Moments or something like that. And so maybe it might take him like 10 minutes to really give a positive moment or a positive insight, my little motivational thing for the day. So his podcasts are daily because they're only like 15 minutes. But if you're doing a technical type of podcast, like something today, somebody probably would have tuned in. This took like a little over an hour. Someone would I believe I could engage somebody for an hour, in a podcast. Frequency, again, it's really, podcasts are the audio version of a blog. And as long as you have enough content to keep it rolling, and I recommend that you do a marketing calendar, and another plug for Constant Contact that has that built in there. Did I have that on here? Calendar. Nope, I don't have that on. Or event. Yeah, somewhere on there. But anyway, they had a calendar. You can do yourself a marketing calendar to help you keep track of what podcast you're going to do and what day. Let's see. Another question. what do you consider an average bounce rate on a website? And how do you improve your bounce rate? I don't know. I know that there's data out there. I'm going to be honest. The slide that I talked about, analysis paralysis, I'm the one that the reason I don't get into a lot of data is because it does paralyze me. And so a lot of times I don't like to look at a lot of data, because sometimes it can be a little discouraging, or sometimes it can be misrepresenting. But anyway, if you do want to know what the average bounce rate, Google it. You can Google it. But how do you improve your bounce rate? All of the techniques that I gave you can help you improve your bounce rate, particularly videos. Videos engages a person long enough. Usually people are going to, when they come to a site and they see, a video, most people are just curious and they like to be entertained or whatever, and they may watch that video. So that could help with the bounce rate. But yeah, anything to do with data, you can always Google it and find, because even if I were to tell you what the average bounce rate is from the last I looked it up, it's probably changed. So you can get your most relevant data just by Googling it. Dale did respond. And can everybody see the responses that people are putting on here? If anybody can say that they can see the other attendees' responses or chat. Can they see that in the chat?
I can see them all from.
Well, I know you can. I know you can see them, Ted, because you're one of the. You can see them like I can. So somebody said I see some, not all. Okay, so let me read Dale, because he gave a phone number. So I just want to.
I can put Dale on. I can allow him on his mic if.
Oh, okay.
If that would help.
I'm sure, but
Dale, are you there? Let me see if I can open this up here.
Yes, I'm here.
There he goes.
Okay.
Talk about podcasts.
Speak to your point?
Well, yes, I was really echoing what you said, Arba, that it really can vary. And I think the best approach to take would be to speak directly with that individual one-on-one with him or her to find out what their topic is, the purpose, and then customize it to fit the audience they're attempting to reach and the subject matter that goes along with it. One scenario might be what's good for every day of the week may not be good or beneficial for someone else. And you have to also factor in the time factor and the equipment. And lastly, again, the purpose of it.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, and that's been the thread. Thank you so much, Dale. Thanks for chiming in on that. The thread throughout my whole presentation is here's a whole toolbox of stuff, and pick what you think may work for you. You don't know until you try it. The two businesses that I first got into, I was not even looking to get into business. And, and it was just that the opportunity or the demand was there. And then I learned the different stuff to go along with that. Okay, someone's asking, what is Dale's contact information? And then someone else also said, if you switch your chat, so switch from panelists to attendees, so that you can see all panelists and attendees, then you'll be able to see all of the chat. But in the meantime, Dale's contact information is 716-563-0238. For those of you that are still on the line, something funny I will tell you is there was the one slide that talked about as seen on TV. If you all want some humor, I've done several as seen on TV commercials. So that's partly why I'm so animated, because I think that this is a great product and you should try it too. So Google me and you'll see a few of my as seen on TV commercials. It just felt like plugging that in there. Any other questions? Looks like we're good, Ted.
Oh, we got, oh, well,
No, she just said that's
we have a
amazing.
comment. That's amazing.
Yeah, I
Well,
really practice what I preach. I've either done everything, tried everything, sold everything, or else supporting it in my day job. So
great. Well, Arba, we want to thank you again for a great workshop. And I see that comment in the chat right now. We want to thank all the attendees for their time, spending their time with us this evening. I wanted to mention that Constant Contact is a national partner of SCORE. And we have a number of partners, includes Microsoft and Google and all of those big ones that we have a partnership with. And we tend not to go ahead and promote any one organization, which is why Arba was being very careful about talking about a lot of different organizations that can provide services, but certainly Constant Contact is a beneficial organization. Don't forget our workshops are on our buffaloniagara.score.org website. And all of the October ones that I mentioned before are listed there. At the bottom of the workshops webpage, you'll find them. Don't get confused if you don't see them at the top of the page. They're all at the bottom of the page, and you can register online for the October workshops.
well,
Other
Ted,
than that,
one other plug too is if they are on SCORE's Constant Contact mailing list, then they get their own personal invitation.
that's right. That's right. They do. Yes, yeah. Indeed. And we use Constant Contact a lot. So, with that, thanks again to everyone, and look forward to seeing you and listening to you and getting your questions on another webinar that we're presenting from SCORE.
And you're going to be sending them a survey, right?
They're going to be getting a survey. It's an electronic survey sent out automatically by our events system. And we'd appreciate your comments coming back.
Yes, please, because I take that to heart. I am who I am today from the comments of before.
All right. Okay. And again, look forward to seeing you at another webinar. Take care. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.